What's happening, man? It's Flynnalkapone, man. Splash Team Pull Up Gang. I'm here with Breakthrough TV. Mimosa Music sitting down. You feel me? We finna talk about it.
Yeah, she wanna fuck while I write this. Bend over, feel her gut in my Nikes. Yeah, on my list, check twice shit. Naughty bitch, put her down on my nice list.
I'm Flynnalkapone, originally from Pasadena, California. Parents divorced. Dad went to LA, Compton. Mom went to the IE. So I kind of did like back and forth between all three of those places. Pasadena being my hometown. I love Pasadena. LA, LA is LA and IE is the IE. I love all three of them. They made me who I am today. Um, that kind of sums up as far as like where I'm from. California, it's about the West. So that's what I'm trying to put on for the West. I'm not necessarily trying to, single myself out. I'm just trying to do it for the West in total.
In that rose, baby, can you make it clap, make it over?
I've been doing music seriously. I think I dropped my first song, what was it, like 2015? 2015. It might have been sooner than that. Taking it serious. I couldn't tell you exactly what year I started taking it serious. Probably when my first song on the platforms was Party at 12. So that was serious, that was a serious moment. But I was still like in between like doing some other shit. And I remember the homie AP, he told me like I was on the way to LA and he called me and he was like, bro, like what's up? Do you wanna be in the streets or like do you wanna do music? Like what are you doing? And at that point I was kinda like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And then like him giving me that call, it was like, okay, like, let's be serious about it. The first we did like SoundCloud at first. And it's easy to put a song on SoundCloud, but like when you put it on the platforms, it's like a totally different kind of feeling. So probably it's 2020 right now. Probably like the last 4 years I've been serious about music.
Long way from that Nissan. Yeah, say she dance, pay the bills.
My favorite artist is probably Michael Jackson of all time. That's probably the first famous person that died that I shed a tear for. You feel me? That shit really fucked me up. But I think music was just like always in my life. I remember really, we grew up listening to music, but I remember being in the back seat of the car and the music was playing. And at this time, I didn't know what an ad lib was. So when I would hear ad libs, I thought the artists were singing the ad libs and singing the vocals at the same time. So I would be in the back seat, like trying to like do it all at the same time. That shit was crazy. You feel me? Like, cause that's how I process the music. I wasn't, as a kid, you don't know about the recording process or anything like that. But inspirations in the game, I'm really inspired a lot by like the local movements. You feel me? That shit's more inspiring than anything. You feel me? To see local people that you grew up with or that you came and path with and shook hands with and shit like that. I remember seeing Kalen for real FR in Vegas, and I was like, "Hey, bro, you feel me? Like you doing your shit." And this was like years ago, before it even like where he is right now. But just like local inspiration is really enough for me. Big artists in the game. I remember when I first started, ASAP Rocky was like a big influence. Like I really liked his music. I've always wanted to like do music with ASAP. His whole little swag, his whole get down. Uh, everybody from the West Coast, YG, TDE, just people that we could touch. Nipsey Hussle. These are people you can see like outside, literally, like you feel me, outside on any random day. So that's like the local inspiration is really where it's at. Tupac, of course, that was really like my favorite rapper for a minute, and he was dead before you feel me. We even so. Shit like that, man. West Coast, man.
So she wake in the morning.
Really, how the tape came about, I was dropping singles. I dropped 11 singles on the platforms. But people kept bothering me like, oh, when's the tape coming out? When's the tape coming out? And I was like, at that time, I didn't see the necessary, like, why did I need to put out a tape? Snitch 9, that nigga he was dropped 5 singles. And he got hot off 5 singles. So in my mind, I'm like, you can get hot off a single. But then the homie from Homegrown, MJ, he was like, this was after the Juice video. He set me down. He was really like on my head, like, he was yelling at me, but not yelling at me. He was just like stern on like, you need to drop a tape, you need to drop a tape. And I'm like, I left that conversation like, since everybody's asking for a tape, I'll just drop a tape. And then
No time for that nonsense.
with the dance hall, it was really like, I'm gonna drop a tape like that. Nobody, like, this is all my music before this. I was fucking with Papa, nigga from Inglewood, like, and that music was easy to me to make that type of music. And I could go and hear a beat from him and write a song in like 5 minutes. Some of my best songs, still like with the dancehall shit, that shit like, and I think any artist will say some of their best music, they write it like, it comes like boom, like you get inspired and like the pen goes crazy, you start writing. So with the dancehall, probably like Burner Boy, listening to him, and then my homie Ohi, who AR the tape, he really was just like, we found one song and it worked. Ruby Rose was actually like the first song I recorded that was a dancehall record, and that shit worked. And then it was like, okay, we might have found something that we could do, so like let's just keep going. And we probably went through like 300 beats, me and him, and then we came down to what we have now. But it was just something to do. I wouldn't say like, oh, my next tape's gonna be dancehall, because I don't want to put myself in a box. So this dancehall thing was just like, yeah, I can make a tape, you feel me? And no one's gonna expect me to drop all dancehall records. So it was just like, y'all want a tape? Okay, y'all gonna get a tape, but y'all not gonna get the tape that y'all thought y'all wanted. Y'all gonna get some other shit.
Ain't no option. She be filling up a plastic bag.
I probably worked on this tape for like an hour. I mean, not an hour, a year. And some change, to be honest. When I first started writing, I used a different method. I used to write my raps in my phone, but then I would like listen to so many beats. I found the notepad to be more effective. So this whole tape I really wrote in my notepad. The first couple of songs, how it was crazy is the songs are in order of how I wrote them, except for Ruby Rose, which is like the fifth or fourth song. You feel me? But everything else is in order, and I thought I was gonna have to move stuff around and stuff like that, but it was really like, it sound good, it flows, so like it really just came together like that. Was it hard? I would say the hardest part was quarantine was in the middle of the tape, so there was maybe like a 2-3 months where I wasn't inspired because I was inside the house. It was hard to find inspiration. I wrote a lot of songs during that time that didn't make the tape, only because like the subject and the topics, they were kind of bland. They didn't really have no oomph. I didn't have like a real life moment to pull from. So I was trying to pull from old moments, but like none of those moments really stick. So like the songs that I did write during quarantine, you're like, what's the song? Dance. My first bar is like, she wanna fuck while I write this. You feel me? That was really somebody like hit my line and was trying to have, you feel me? And I was like, no, I want to write this song like more than I want to do that. You feel me? So just like little moments like that during quarantine, I was able to pull from. What song is it? Black Magic, which is true. In the beginning of the song, I felt like I could write a song a day, because in that moment I felt like I could write a song a day. But quarantine, it was like, I'm here one day, you feel me, for a month, and then the next month I'm crashing, you feel me, and then I'm talking to myself like, okay, how you gonna pull yourself out of this funk? But I have fun writing these songs. The songs are beautiful, you feel me. I think it's good energy, good music. I think people are gonna rock with the tape. I think it's a lot of good songs on there. It'll be hard for the people to identify with one song. I think as the tape goes on, people will be like, oh, I like this one. Oh, I like this one. Oh, I like this one. So with that, I think we're putting out a good overall project.
Can I still fall through?
Everybody says dance, and dance is one of my favorites. Boot Up, I feel like it's definitely like up there. My favorite is a song that I really fuck with. I really fuck with Ruby Rose. To say one, I would say probably it would be between me, Boot Up and Dance. I feel like those are two big moments on the album, and I feel like they're two different sides of me. You feel me? Boot Up is like, Boot Up is actually inspired by the homie that's managing the tape. His homies was from NOLA, and they was coming down, and he was like, let's go link with the homies. And I'm like, man, I really want to write some music. You feel me? Like, that was my vibe. It was a pull between, going out and writing music. And then since, like, they're from NOLA, it's called The Boot down there. You feel me? So it was like, Boot Up. You feel me? We going crazy. So, that's also just being inspired. So between those two, if I had to pick one, I think dance might be a bigger moment for like the consumer, but the feeling I get from Boot Up is like unmatched. But I say dance.
So I still fall through.
I write music for myself, not depending on another artist, but like that whole, you feel me, like sending the track out and getting it back. Because people have sent me some shit and get that shit back. You feel me? But I said I was going to do the feature, right? So like that waiting, if you notice, like a lot of my songs on the platforms, I don't think any of them have features except for like two of them. So really, I write music on my own time. You feel me? And it's I'm not too thirsty for the feature. I think the features will come when we're naturally like in the moment. But until then, I gotta handle my own business. I think it's three. It might be. I got three songs. I think Fever's on Ism, Bachi's on Ruby Rose, and then the homie Prez is on My Life. So, and those are all moments. You feel me? Like it was a moment I was in the studio recording Ruby Rose, and I looked at Bachi and I was like, "You might need to get on this on the back end." And then with Ism, I had the homie D Wave, who's a good artist. He's young, on it at first, and then randomly, like in the middle of the night, I'm like, I think Fever would sound hard on this. You feel me? I called Fever, and he laid the verse in like 10 minutes. My Life with Prezi, that was actually his beat. You feel me? So I made the song. You feel me? And he was featuring on it, but he gave me the beat. But features, I feel like when if it's a studio session, we're all in the studio. That's a better way to make music because you're in the moment naturally. But like sending stuff out like that, I'm a little like, I'd rather just go ahead and give this a second verse. And I'll do sometimes like I'll make a second verse and maybe somebody else needs to get on that. But until I feel like that's like a necessary thing, then I'm just gonna keep making the songs.
No time for that nonsense. If it ain't about no baggage.
Energized. I want them to feel good. I think most of my music is like feel good music, even when like the tone or the tempo isn't like upbeat and boom, 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 boom. I still feel like, you feel good. It's like, you could ride around to it. I think the tape is like 30 minutes or something like that, you feel me? And you feel good. I'll eventually like, even when like I come to start making like the songs that aren't, those feel good, I still feel like even if it's like a lower, a different type of mood, you'll still feel like, feel good about that shit.
So I still fall through every night, make it fall on.
No one's dropped a tape like this, you feel me, locally.
I agree.
So right there, I already stand out. I make my own type of music, so I don't think there's anybody who can be like, yeah, he sounds like this, you feel me? So it's really establishing myself as an artist. It's my first tape, so with the singles, it's easy. The singles is dope because it's a moment, you feel me? It's a moment and people enjoy the singles and they run it back, yada, yada, yada. But with the tape, it's like, okay, like, you feel me? He could put together a collective of songs, and I think people will a little bit more respect on my artistry. We're going like dancehall, going a totally different vibe, but not necessarily making dancehall records. And a lot of people might not even catch that these are dancehall records because I'm like rapping, you feel me? I'm doing my own little thing. I'm not trying to, be from somewhere I'm not, you feel me? I'm doing my own thing. I'm bringing my vibe. So I think I'll just get like a little bit more respect in the game. My name will just be like, okay, you feel me? It'll be attached to like a body of music. So I think that's really what it will give me, just like a little bit more notoriety and a little bit more respect for my craft.
Make it fall on you. Latex, come through.
Keep going. The homie I'm with the homie the other day. It's funny, I was talking about this last night. This nigga like chuckled at me. I'm like, what's funny? He was like, I remember like you was homeless and like you called me and was like, I need a blanket. You feel me? And he just like looking at me and where I am right now, like, you feel me? Like damn, like, you feel me? Like, I done seen you from like your lowest, quote unquote, to like where you are right now. We got way farther to go. But you know, if my message not in my music, if it was like, you know, like Nip, you know, like the marathon continues, you feel me? Don't let a bad moment keep you in a bad place. You feel me? Like keep that shit going. You feel me? Everybody's going through something. Everybody, you know, has their days and has their moments, but you can't let those things like dictate like what you're finna do with yourself. So I think that's really when I, you know, keep going.
Call on you, I like to ball on you.
Yeah, the tape drops on the 18th of December, so we're like a month out almost. We plan on doing a listening party and a couple events before that, but like depending on COVID, it may or may not be as big as we wanted, or it may or may not happen. But you know, we're being optimistic about it, and the pre-orders, people that are pre-ordering, that will be like the ticket into like events. People that like support, they'll be able to definitely come and like feel me and feel the music and like enjoy the moment. You know, this tape, I don't have any expectations of where it's gonna take me, but I do know it's a moment. We'll enjoy the moment. We'll cheers. You know, we'll live the moment, and then back to the drawing board. You feel me? I want to start doing more features. I want to start touching more people. We've been on the road a lot lately. You feel me? I know cities are starting to open up again for concerts and stuff like that. So we're gonna figure that out, and you know, just, you know, enjoy the moment and take it one day at a time, and you know, keep moving forward.
So I still fall through every night. We can fall on you.